What's going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a fantastic day today. Now, ladies and gentlemen, obviously when it comes down to a beta, a lot of things that we want to see improve, involve optimization, performance, so on and so forth. But I wanted to put together a little side video of not the obvious things, but more so the tinier things within the game that should be changed around, in my personal opinion, or at least tweaked to a certain degree to make it a bit more playable in the long run. Now, of course, will these changes dictate if I purchase the game or not purchase it? No, not at all. What I played throughout the beta is absolutely outstanding. But I still want to give some constructive criticism and some feedback about the game, give my 2 cents about certain features within this overall title. Maybe, see if we can get some changes and see if the devs might be interested in messing around with some of this stuff. And of course, I would love to see what you guys have to say about this game down in the comment section below. Any of your biggest changes that you want to see within Battlefield 6, please light it up. But first and foremost for me, I wanted to talk about the weapon sling. Now, I don't know how to feel about this because I'm kind of mixed. I enjoy it, but at the same time, I do think it's a bit overwhelming. Now, the developers did go ahead and balance this by making sure that if you're playing Assault, you don't get that much ammunition. For those who are curious about this, I've seen a lot of people online saying they don't have enough ammo. Basically, the reason you don't have enough ammo is that if you're rocking Assault with the weapon sling, which is the only thing you can rock right now within the beta, you don't get that much ammunition for your weapons. Since you're allowed to carry 2 primaries, that's how DICE went ahead and balanced it by making sure that you don't have, an endless amount of rounds to shoot out of both of them. So, I don't like that's a good balance change right there to make sure you don't have as much ammo, but it still just gives you the best of all worlds. I mean, you can have a medium to long range weapon as a primary, and you'll always have an up close and personal weapon as your secondary. Or you can have an up close and personal weapon like an SMG, and then have like a DMR or something, whatever, as a secondary for longer range. Regardless, you have the best of all worlds, and it kind of makes the gunfights a little strange from time to time, not all the time, but when you see an Assault player, you have no clue what they're going to come at you with. You might see them with a sniper rifle, and then the next second they're in your face with a shotty, or you might see them with the SMG, and the next second, they extend the gap and they're sniping at you. You know what I'm saying? It's just, I don't know how to feel about this, but I would love to know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Do you think they should keep the sling, or do you think that this should be something that is tweaked even further than just cutting the ammunition count? Next up here, wall hacks. Get rid of all forms of wall hacks, please. Again, I always state this. I don't know why every game out there does it. Battlefield, Delta Force, Call of Duty, Splitgate, X-Defy. Every game has to put in this nonsense, and I never understood why. For the Assault class is actually their final ability that you can go ahead and activate it, and it will give you a little scan through the walls to see if anybody is coming your way. Personally, I think they should just go ahead and dumb it down. Don't allow you to see them, through the walls, and only spot them on the minimap if it has to stay in the game. And talking about the minimap, I also want to talk about this topic as well. Please make it a little bit easier to understand who is who on your team, on the minimap, what class they decided to pick. Yes, I understand at the bottom middle you can see all the nearby medics, but sometimes it's just, I don't know, maybe I'm just a doofus, but it's confusing as ever to understand what teammate is what. If I can understand if they're a medic, if they're an engineer, an Assault player, I can kind of work the minimap a bit better and also kind of rotate a bit better and have better placements overall. Also, one last thing while we're on the topic of the minimap, since this kind of relates in some ways, the spotting system in Battlefield 6, it is extraordinarily wonky. First and foremost, spotting in general is an absolute nightmare. I think you have to double tap the spot button, if I'm not mistaken, from what I can tell. If I just, tap Q one time, I don't think it really spots them that frequently. But when I double tap it instantly, goes ahead and spots them. But forget about that noise. Let's talk about the auto spot system. That is just, it's very interesting. Basically, for anybody that doesn't know, anybody you aim at, automatically gets spotted. Now, for Recon class, this is a little bit of a menace because you can use it with any weapon and it spots for your whole team. Hence why it feels like you can't flank, you can't be a bit stealthy because you're always on the minimap. And of course, in this game, a lot of the game modes so far are open classes. So you have Recons running around with assault rifles, carbine, all this good stuff, spotting everybody while they're running and gunning. It's kind of annoying. And as I stated, it takes away from the stealth factor. But again, for everybody else, you still get that auto spot. And as I stated, it's not for everybody. It's only for yourself. Recon's the only one that spots for everyone, and everyone gets an auto spot for themselves. I like that, but I hate it at the same time, and I'll tell you why. I like it because the visibility in this game, let's be real, it's a little rough. 9 times out of 10, the auto spot system saves my life. in a lot of scenarios because I just can't see some people at some moments in time, especially with how the camouflage is in this game. This isn't Call of Duty where everybody's running around as unicorns, you know. You got people in actual military gear blending in with the environment. It could be a bit tedious, but Autospot kind of saves the day in that scenario, and it helps me basically have better, I guess, eyesight when it comes to Battlefield 6, and I think a lot of people will like that. But my suggestion is tone it back a bit. I shouldn't be able to auto-spot someone across the map and scan across the whole map and spot everybody for myself to see and engage with. I feel like there should be a certain range that it should be cut at, a little bit more close range. And, you know, it'll help you when you're going into buildings, someone's hiding in a dark corner, you could still find them. But at range, like if they're all the way on the other end of the map, you won't be able to spot them out and just, you know, pluck them whenever you feel like it. But regardless, I think that this auto-spot feature needs to be reworked in some way, shape, and form. And I would love to hear what you guys have to say about this down in the comments section. How would you guys go about reworking this overall system? And do you think that Recon should even keep the final perk of being able to auto-spot everybody and have the whole team see them? Or do you think that should be toned down as well? Also, while we're on the topic of visibility, let's talk about the debris and the smoke and all that stuff. Trust me, the destruction is awesome in this game. I absolutely love it. But holy moly, when something pops off, when you shoot out of your tank or anything goes on, the smoke blocks everything. You can't see a singular thing that's going on. If someone shoots a rocket at your building, it's over. And I understand. It's immersive. It really is immersive. But sometimes it truly gets in the way. And it puts you at a disadvantage as well because while you have a big, massive smoke screen in front of your face, the opponent might not have the same exact visuals, making it easier for them to engage with you while you have no clue what is happening. So hopefully, I don't want them to tone down any of the destruction, but hopefully they can tone back some of the debris and the smoke and all that crazy stuff that goes ahead and pops up on your screen when you're really in the craps. And I also want to mention, I really hope they have a weather system planned for some point within Battlefield 6 lifespan. Because let's be real, weather within Battlefield is so immersive. I love it, especially when it's completely random and you start off with a completely sunny map and then out of nowhere you're getting a massive storm swooping on through and tearing everything up. Seems like, weather has almost been a staple of the Battlefield franchise, and we haven't seen it anywhere within Battlefield 6. So I'm hoping that maybe this is just something that's being held back right now and we'll see it at a later point. But I really do hope that the devs have something planned in store to allow for dynamic weather to be introduced within Battlefield 6. Because again, this game is beautiful, it's gorgeous, it looks stunning, and weather would only add to the atmosphere that this game already provides. Next up here, sadly, there's no way to sugarcoat this, but the UI in this game is absolute garbage. Not really the in-game UI, and you can actually tweak it pretty heavily, but I'm talking about the menu screen UI, loading up the game and having that boxed formatted oh god, I'm so sick of that format. Again, it's not a game breaker, right? I'm still going to end up playing Battlefield 6, but dude, I'm getting sick of that. Like, whoever thought of incorporating that Hulu or streaming service UI into games? Whoever did that needs to just reevaluate this, please, because every game is picking it up. Every single game pretty much has it now. And I don't know why. It's such a weird concept, and I feel like everybody universally is like, this is garbage, yet for some reason games keep introducing it. So I know this probably won't get changed, but I still wanted to mention it. I don't like the UI. Also, talking about some UI problems, on the scoreboard, you don't get to see how many revives you have as a support player. Now, I don't really care because, I'm playing support to be a support player and help my team and revive and keep people on the front lines. But support players really thrive off of seeing how many revives they have. That's a huge, crucial point for them. And I think they want it to be publicly seen. So I don't know why it's not there. And usually it always is, but I hope that they incorporate that sometime down the road. And ladies and gentlemen, the last thing I can really think of is the sweet spot mechanic. Yes, apparently the sweet spot mechanic from Battlefield 1 has found its way back into Battlefield 6. The devs said they went back to all the classic Battlefield games and picked the best parts of them. I don't know who went back to Battlefield 1 and said that was the best part, because it was not. Battlefield is known for having skilled snipers. That's the whole fun factor. If you're rocking a sniper rifle, you know that either A, you're going to be rocking with your team and trying to pluck off enemies who are already damaged, or do damage to enemies so your team can finish them up, or B, you're going to go for headshots and get those one-shot kills, and it's very satisfying. That's what snipers are all about. Getting one-tapped like it's Call of Duty by a sniper in Battlefield is the worst thing imaginable. And I don't know why I got reintroduced back into the game, but I'm hoping DICE will be open to reconsidering this because I don't think this game needs it. I don't. Battlefield 1 is the only game they've ever introduced that feature into, so I don't know why it's here. It's not like it's a fan favorite popular feature. It's not like it's been in multiple different Battlefield games. It's not needed, you know? Some of the most popular Battlefield games known to mankind did not have a sweet spot mechanic. So I don't think it's going to be the end of the world if they go ahead and remove it. But ladies and gentlemen, I'll be real with you guys. That's pretty much my list, and it's a small list. I'll be real. I tried my hardest to think of things that were really annoying me within Battlefield 6 that aren't just bugs and performance, because as I stated, that's already a known, right? The devs are going to be working on that. That's clear. That's what a beta is for. But when it comes down to the fundamentals of the game, I would love to see some of the things that I listed changed around a bit. Of course, it's not a deal breaker. I still think Battlefield 6 is phenomenal, and it's definitely a top Battlefield game for me so far. We'll see when the launch comes through, but from this beta, this is one of the best performing betas I've played in a long time within this franchise. But of course, if you guys have anything that I didn't put on my list, please leave it down below. I already know I missed a bunch of things. A bunch, right? I'm just one person. I'm just a random individual who enjoys to play video games. I can only think of so much. I'm sure all of you guys have a massive list of things that you would love to see improved on this game. So please go down in the comment section and leave them down below. But ladies and gentlemen, as always, if you enjoyed today's video, leave a like. If you hate it, leave a dislike. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. I post here daily at 8 in the morning Eastern Time. And sometimes we even go ahead and double upload at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Everything between Battlefield, Call of Duty, Splitgate 2, Arc Raiders, pretty much any other FPS or even third-person shooter game that might spark my interest, I'll go ahead and cover on this channel. So if you guys want to stay up to date on all the news, information, content drops, events, so on and so forth, subscribe and hit that bell. And last but not least, if you guys are interested in my live streams, I stream Monday through Saturday over on Twitch, starting between 12 to 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Of course, if you guys are interested, I'll link that channel down in the description of this video. But as always, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you all next one. Peace out.